I'm sorry.
A quarter of a century after its release, One Piece continues to steer us on an unforgettable voyage, charting the course of Monkey D. Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates to the helm of the pirate world. And as the series continues to keep us at the edge of our seats, cheering the Straw Hats as they defy Yonko Kaido in the ongoing Wano Country arc, here's a quick video recapping the most memorable and impactful one-shots in the series so far. All hands on deck for this one. It's the top 10 One Piece one-shots brought to you by ViniiTube. At number 10, we travel back in time to Brook's introduction arc. The oldest member of the Straw Hats, Brook, is capable when he's not being goofy. He's also an underrated character. I mean, let's not forget his deadly assault on Black Maria's underlings in Wano, all of whom he cut down in a single stroke. However, his one-shot, one-kill on Dararan stands out not just for his swordplay, but for the importance of the information he unearths, that Moria's zombie army can be vanquished with salt. This eventually turns the tide of the battle to the Straw Hats' favor. Next up at number 9 is the newest addition to the Straw Hats crew, the formidable Knight of the Sea Jinbei, as he leaves the pompous Gecko Moria dumbstruck with a single blow. We probably remember the Fishman best for his death-defying willpower and courage when facing Big Mom's soul extraction ability, but this early example of his supremacy at the apocalyptic Summit War of Marineford is equally memorable. Ahead of his fight against Jinbei, Moria gains power and size by devouring the shadows of several Marines with the ability of his Shadow Devil Fruit. Getting ahead of himself, Moria prepares to take Jinbei's shadow too, but borrowed strength can only amount to so much. Jinbei's mastery of Fishman karate is always a marvel to watch as we see him cut Moria's self-satisfied drivel short. At number 8 is the one shot that got tongues wagging, Luffy bringing down the giant Hajirudin at the Corridor Coliseum in Dressrosa. Don Quixote Doflamingo holds a gladiators contest with the prize being the Flame Fruit, previously owned by Ace. Naturally though, Luffy joins the tournament to claim his late brother's Devil Fruit. In characteristic nutty fashion, he enters the arena in disguise as the white-bearded Lucy, the people's favourite. One of his most fearsome opponents is Hajirudin. The giant from Elbaf isn't one to be made light of, as Lucy finds out after his trusted Mount Brutal Bull is brought to ground with just one smack. Well, plucky as ever, Luffy swiftly knocks out the Colossus with just the Haki enhanced Gear second punch. Although this is but a tiny incident in the larger Dressrosa story, Luffy's one-shot takedown of Hajirudin has passed the test of time for our hero's mind-boggling boldness. Of course, for one who aims to be the next pirate king, power is a must, but the kindness with which Luffy exacts revenge for Brutal Bull is a rare quality to come by, and we can't help but love him for it. Imagine a prehistoric elephant the size of an island with legs long enough to walk the seas and a trunk that can decimate an entire fleet. Well, that's Zunisha, our champion at number 7, as she smashes the beast pirates Jack and his fleet to smithereens with just a shake of a massive trunk. After the carnage inflicted by Jack upon the Minks, a tribe that lives on the island of Zo located on the ancient elephant's back, this counterattack is most satisfying. Besides the awesome action, the existence of Zunisha, before then unnoticed even by the Minks, makes the mystery surrounding the background of the One Piece story even more enticing. What's more though, the uncanny ability with which Zunisha communicates with Momonosuke and Luffy and asks them for permission to attack Jack just adds to the enigma. This ability, called the Voice of All Things, is a super rare power akin to telepathy and heard by only a handful of individuals, one of them being the Pirate King Roger himself. This ramps up the tension for what's in store for Luffy and Momo later in the story. In the 6th spot, Luffy's a force of nature as he one-shots a pacifista to announce his return after the 2-year time skip. During the time skip, Luffy undergoes rigorous training under Roger's first mate Silver's Rayleigh and has a course on Haki drilled into him. That means the pacifista doesn't even stand a chance against Luffy. This one-shot is important not just for Luffy's display of his newly acquired power, but because it introduces Haki as the second major mode of combat after Devil Fruits. And since then, Haki has emerged as the defining factor in a match of strength between formidable opponents. We know for a fact that Roger, without a Devil Fruit, was strong enough to overwhelm Whitebeard's Tremor Fruit, considered the strongest Paramecia fruit. As a first look at the destructive potential of Luffy's armament Haki, his disposal of the pacifista packs a mean punch. Zoro knocks out Scratchman Apple in a battle between two members of the worst generation at number 5.
Nanda? ただの脅しか。ふざけやがって。
The stage is set by Queen as he unleashes a deadly virus that turns enemies and comrades alike into Ice Oni, or Ice Demons, before killing them. In the madness of the Ice Oni tag race that ensues, Zoro pursues Appu for the antidote. The endless chase soon begins to get on Zoro's nerves, who, being the solemn samurai warrior type, is the exact opposite of Queen and Appu with their party sensibilities. In the midst of the ruckus, Zoro sees the severed hand of a comrade, and that's when the real Oni is unleashed, much to Appu's misfortune. Even amongst the group of notorious pirates dubbed the worst generation, Zoro, along with Luffy and Blackbeard, are the most terrifying. As one of only 2 non-captain members, it's understandable why people often mistake the green-haired swordsman for the captain of the Straw Hats. The lightning-fast slash on Appu is just the tip of the iceberg. In his element in the land of the samurai, Zoro has already made Kaido bleed and is now up against King, which means that we can be sure to feast our eyes on some more of the good stuff. Featuring at number 4 is the most epic use of observation Haki in the entire series. The cowardly Usopp grows up exponentially in the Dressrosa arc as he incapacitates Sugar, a senior officer of the Don Quixote family, not once, but twice. Now it's at that moment when he awakens his observation Haki and saves Luffy and Trafalgar Law that Usopp finally lives up to the legacy of his father Yasopp, the sniper of the Red Hair Pirates. The impressive display of sniping skills from the wacky sharpshooter can be credited for the Straw Hats' ultimate victory over Doffy and his crew, although we've seen Usopp pull through on a number of occasions in the past. For instance, in his fight against Perona in the Thriller Bark arc, this showcase of pure skill and power is undoubtedly his finest moment so far. Yet to see him play a meaty role in Wano, let's keep our hopes up for another God Usopp moment. The Straw Hat Pirates are most likely the only ones in the New World who've built their foundation on dreams. And that's why, high up at number 3, is the memorable fight between Luffy and Bellamy the Hyena in Mocktown. Ridiculed and beaten up by Bellamy for believing in the existence of Skypiea, an island in the sky, Luffy chooses not to defend himself in a moment that nostalgically parallels Shanks' refusal to fight a gang of mountain bandits in Makino's bar all those years ago. However, Luffy finally loses his cool when his newfound friends are hurt by Bellamy and his crew, who only believe in power and wealth. Playing the role of the underdog perfectly, Luffy delivers the most divine punch on Bellamy's smug face, knocking him unconscious. It's been a long journey since this early incident, but Luffy hasn't changed at all, still choosing to fight for pride, dreams, and friendship at every turn. This is apparent as he stands firm before the Yonkos Kaido and Big Mom in Wano, condemning their domineering ways and challenging them to the crown of the Pirate King. And that brings us to the runners-up spot as Celestial Dragon Charlos incurs Luffy's wrath at the human auctioning house in Sabodi. Luffy's lifelong dream of becoming the Pirate King and obtaining the One Piece stems from his desire to be the freest person in the world. So when his mermaid friend Kami is kidnapped and sold into slavery, and another friend, the fishman Hachan, is shot by Charlos, it's not hard to imagine what's gonna happen next. The furious Luffy bashes in the loathsome aristocrat's face with utter disregard for his exalted social status as a world noble. Luffy's righteous smackdown gives him one hell of an introduction to fellow supernovas Law and Kid, who are also present at the auction house. We can safely assume that their current alliance in Wano is a most favourable outcome of this past event. So it's time to unveil the winner, and it's the big bad Kaido's singular knockdown punch on Luffy in their first meeting in Wano. Right after blowing up an entire mountaintop with his blast breath, the Azure Dragon shows Luffy his place despite being a drunken mess. A recurrent victor in our top 10 videos, we can't have enough of this one-shot takedown. With Luffy continuing his fight against the Yonko after recovering from the powerful punch and miraculously surviving a near-fatal fall as well, things have gotten much more exciting. Kaido happens to be the only bad guy on the dispensing end in today's video. He's known as the strongest creature, not just for his physical attributes, but for his insatiable thirst for blood and combat. The fact that he relishes every assault on his person and seemingly gets stronger from it makes him a scary foe. We're glad that the Yonko has finally met his match in Luffy, who after the initial disappointment of being knocked out cold in a single strike is showing us his famous tenacity. A pirate acknowledged by Whitebeard himself and allied with the equally terrifying Big Mom, Kaido is definitely Luffy's ticket into the big league, more specifically the Club of the Four Emperors of the Sea. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for more of your favourite anime series and trending topics. And make sure you leave your suggestions and thoughts on the video or anything else in the comments below. Until next time.